I'd love for you to start with the topical question of
Yes,
how should and how could Doge be using AI to investigate government spending?
right. I mean, at first glance, I mean, the Elon Musk and Doge news is pretty horrifying in terms of AI. I mean, there's no doubt that AI should be used in the federal government and that government systems need to be modernized. But AI needs to be used with a sense of care and nuance that I'm not sure he's using. I'm not even sure he's capable of. But let's talk about AI itself. So AI is powerful, but it's not magical. The problem is this. Artificial intelligence is brilliantly smart. It's got this intellectual firepower, but it's not human. It cannot make nuanced moral judgments. Artificial intelligence cannot, at this point, really make advanced managerial decisions. So far, that still requires a human. I'm not sure that Elon Musk can, with very little oversight, use AI to reshape the federal government for the better. It's pretty worrying. If you look what he did with Twitter, he bought it. It was a vibrant platform. And then now it's pretty messed up, and he wants to reshape the federal government. Let me give you a personal example. I'm writing a novel, and I submitted the first chapter to ChatGPT. I just entered it right in. About 10 seconds later, Chat came back with these great comments, like it knew all the characters, and AI had understood the motivations, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And then I sent it off to my actual human writing teacher I've worked with a long time. She's really an expert in drama and characters, and she said, you know, this part really isn't clear, and this part could be streamlined, and this character really needs to be deepened. And I realized she was right. She actually understood the material, where ChatGPT seemed to understand the material, but the human really did understand it. And that's my worry about Elon is like, does he really know what he's doing as he mucks around with these very complicated issues?
How would you describe the difference between the two parties in terms of their attitude towards the role of government in connecting with the private sector and AI?
Well, I mean, I think it's the classic Democrat Republican divide. It came out in Biden's executive order. I mean, Biden's executive order was well intentioned, but it was too intrusive in reality. I mean, it was kind of a problem. The Republican, stance by comparison is way too hands off. I mean, Biden wrote an executive order that did some really good things. It wanted to combat bias in AI. It wanted to protect confidentiality. On the other hand, it had this really kooky provision that said that companies were supposed to submit regular reports about the AI models as they were building them. So, I mean, that is insanely intrusive. It was never going to really happen. Companies would never really submit a regular report about the products they're building. It just makes no sense. On the other hand, Trump, basically his second day in office, rescinded Biden's executive order about AI and has put nothing in its place. So it's really a free-for-all at this point. There's no major federal legislation that really comprehensively covers AI in the US. And Trump is not making any noises about that after eliminating the one little executive order that did. So the question is, hey, these big, strong, powerful companies are very sophisticated. We need some regulation. Donald Trump, I know you want to be really pro-business and pro-AI, but what about us citizens? That's what I would ask.
In the short term, what are the dangers of that hands-off policy?
Well, these companies really know what they're doing in terms of harvesting our information and using it for their own profitable, uses. And so, will they steal our data? They will indeed steal our data. Will they use systems and algorithms to manipulate us in many different ways? There's no doubt about it. Maybe they'll influence healthcare policy the way that's written. AI is reshaping so many different industries: healthcare, education, retail. We don't actually even know the many ways that they can, use AI for their own profit that is not really helpful to us. So, AI does need to be regulated. It's a super complex issue. The question is how, and that is a really difficult question. But the idea that it would be completely unregulated is, I think, a pretty serious problem.
Dan.
Is there any country in the world that you think is getting that balance right of regulating?
Well, and that's another issue. I mean, Europe has made some, tentative things in terms of a privacy policy, but the problem is the technology is really fast moving and very sophisticated, and governments are very slow moving and tend to be, inept in these very forward looking issues. So the answer really is no. I wish the answer was yes, but it's really no one has done that. I mean, Biden's executive order, as weak-toothed as it was a nice first step, but it's something we need to go a lot further with.